In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 8 money principles that I know now at 38 I wish I had in my 20s. Principle number 1, money is energy. Just imagine yourself walking into a shopping center and the first person that you meet is grumpy and the second person is very jolly, very positive, looks like he just had $1 million in his bank account. Who would you want to talk to more? The grumpy one or the jolly and happy one? Of course, you would be attracted to the more positive person, right? And I've found this to be very true in all of my sales team that I've mentored, that I've coached. The ones that have the best attitude always attract the best clients, and they also close the most in their career. A lot of other successful business owners, the ones that are very successful, most of them are very optimistic. So even though you may not feel like you have a lot right now in your 20s, you can start by choosing a positive attitude and as well as maintaining a positive energy around you and build that up and carry that energy around as you're going about your daily activities. Hence, money is attracted to positive energy. So even when you feel like you don't have any yet, you can start by being more cheerful, being more optimistic, and also carrying a positive attitude everywhere you go. Number 2, money is attracted to givers. You see, if you want to attract money into your life, I've found that money comes with opportunities, and opportunities come from being valuable at the right place and at the right time. But I've found that most people in their 20s want to just stay where they're most comfortable. It may be in their close friend group, it may be in their school, in their environment where they feel secure and feel safe. But what I've found in my life is that everything that you actually want in your life, including cash that comes from the opportunities, all comes from meeting the right people at the right place at the right time and having the right skills and resources available to be of value or of service to that person. So you've got to become valuable first. It means you've got to have something to give before you can be a giver, right? So you have to have skills that the marketplace pays for or skills that the market finds high value in. So if I could turn back time, I would use all of my free time in my 20s to study these skills. For example, sales. I want to get immensely good at sales. 2, marketing, helping companies get more leads, get more clients. Who doesn't want that? I want that. That's why I hired a coach to help me get a better content, and as well as hired a team to help me with my Facebook ads, my SEO, whatnot. I pay for this stuff all the time in my business. 3, development/AI. These skills are always in high demand. And 4, the skill of creating viral videos. Most of you guys watching this are on YouTube, probably already know the value of building a very strong personal or a business brand. Having the skill to be able to craft edits that tell the story really, really well, that gets views, that gets people to watch your content, to see your brand in the midst of millions and millions of creators and brands fighting for our attention. That is valuable. And man, if you're in your 20s, pick one of these and just go all in, use all of your free time and dive straight in. Because what I did when I was in my 20s was I spent my free time playing video games, watching series on the streaming platform back then, and just wasted hundreds or even thousands of hours in my 20s that I could have put into perfecting skills that would have made me even richer than I am today. So if you're in your 20s, don't forget, money is attracted to givers. So in order to become a giver, you've got to become valuable and you've got to have a lot to give first. And that comes from adding skills into your mind and yourself. In other words, use your free time to become as valuable as you can to the marketplace. Principle number 3, if you want more money, you've got to learn about money. When I was in my 20s, I basically had zero knowledge about how the money game works. I only know that, okay, you build a business, you buy stuff, and there's profit, which means the difference between your costs and the price that your customer pays for, and that difference is the profit that you make. The more, the better. That was probably all of my knowledge. I had no idea how the money system works. I had no idea why prices were going up on a yearly basis, on why certain things are more expensive than others, on why this country does better than the other. I had no idea why a certain company in the stock market was worth more than the other, aside from the revenue. So if you want money, you gotta learn money. Learn how it works. Learn how money is transferred from one to another, how businesses create enterprise value. Learn how the stock market works. Learn how investors value companies. Learn what makes you become valuable. If you want money, you've got to understand it well. And from there, you can then think about or plan out on how you plan to spend the money that you will eventually earn if you've done step too right. Don't be like me that learned how money works really late into my 20s when I actually decided to hire 2 coaches from the financial institution to actually teach me about all this. So if you're in your early 20s, use this time for your advantage. Principle number 4, buy or invest in experiences, not Instagram highlights. You see, if you've implemented principle number 2, you've acquired a valuable skill and ventured out to meet new people, to get out of your circle and find new circles and connect with people outside of your field, outside of your neighborhood, outside of your city. Chances are there's going to be someone as you're doing your introductions that's going to be like, hey, I actually want that skill that you have. Are you able to help me? So that means that you're going to be able to attract wealth, value, cash into your bank account. But from there, and I'm sure that if most of you in your early 20s, you have all the time and all the energy to get really, really good at the skills that I've mentioned earlier. That also means that there's a high chance that many of you who have watched to this part is gonna get rich pretty fast. And hence, you might be tempted to splurge on nice items like this jacket or a nice watch, nice car, and all that is good, right? But be very careful, because the last thing that I would want for all of you is that you go down the same rabbit hole that I did. When I learned more skills, when I became more valuable to the company, when I learned leadership, marketing, sales, public speaking like this, of course, I became more valuable in the company. You see, in my time, I realized that my social media feed was filled with celebrities, with influencers that would go to nice places, dress nice, and we'll see that kind of like perfect lifestyle, you know? And I thought that if I could be like them, that I would attract more followers that would grow my brand and would eventually grow my business as well. However, I realized that that was a means to an end, because there is no end to the next shining thing. You see, there was a time when I was chasing the latest restaurants. And then as soon as the next influencer that I saw on my social media feed posted this new one, I would have to keep up. And it felt like I always had to keep up with the other people's lives, and I was losing part of myself in the process. And eventually, now that I have a family, I've got a beautiful son and a beautiful wife, I realized that what matters the most is not those fancy items, these flashy jackets. Ultimately, what you will cherish the most is not the latest sneakers, it's not the latest dining experience that your next door influencer went to, but it's actually the small moments that I had with my son and just felt so fulfilling, so happy. And those are the ones that you will cherish. More than all these items, all the watches and whatnot that I had plenty of. All of those items become meaningless and it becomes a means to an end. So if you're in your 20s and you're watching this, let me be that big brother to tell you that all of it is useless. Once you've acquired the wealth and start to stack up the cash, I want to challenge you to buy experiences that you can share with your loved ones, with your friends, and you'll find that actually those moments are the ones that you would come back to on your tough days, that will bring you joy and energy and light on the days that you find challenging and tough. Principle number 5. Now, if you've done principle number 3 correctly, now you will be able to start planning and strategizing about what to invest and what not to invest. To put it simply, in my 20s or in your 20s, I think the simplest thing that you can do for yourself and for your bank account in the future as well is just to dollar cost average into index funds. As the famous quote says, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays for it. Because I only started investing late in my 20s and probably into my early 30s that I really started to dive into the world of investing, that I actually started to gain from compound interest really late. So if you're in your 20s, start investing as much of your paycheck as you can into index funds or whatever you choose that you're comfortable with, that you know will grow in value over time, because that's the power of compound interest. And I know as a fact that if I had started investing in index funds in my early 20s, I would be at least 5 times richer than I am right now. So don't wait too long. Learn about it, find knowledge, find resources, find mentors, get as much knowledge as you can, and invest as early as you can into the things that will grow in time. Principle number 6, give 10% of what you make. Now, this principle of tithing dates all the way back to the time of Abraham, which is probably close to 4,000 years old. In my personal life, I've seen this principle played out immensely. So what do I mean by that? You see, my grandfather, he created a construction company in his early 20s, and he also became a believer in his 20s. And because the church teaches on tithing, so my grandfather not only tithed, but he gave so much away of what he made to the poor to try and help as many people as he could in his lifetime. And the cool part is, guys, is that the wealth that he has accumulated, the third generation down his line, we're still reaping the fame and the prosperity that he has created in his time. Much more, my son, who's the fourth generation down from my grandfather, is also still reaping the benefits of his name. Most of you who are watching this in your 20s, you might wonder, Jedi, what's the point? Well, let me challenge you with this question. Imagine 10 years from now, your son or your daughter is walking down a shopping mall and someone stops your child and tells him, you know, your dad basically helped us in the day that we had nothing, and look at what we have now. Thank you for choosing to invest in us. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for giving to people like us. I had to tell you honestly that I never really understood this until I grew up in my 30s and I met the people that my grandfather helped during the time that he took part of his revenue, part of what he earned, and gave to those less fortunate. I never understood this until I actually met the people that are now impacting hundreds and thousands of people with who they become through the small fruit, through the small seed that my grandfather sowed into their lives back in the day. So I really want to challenge all of you to find something that's close to your heart. Once you start to make money, take 10% of what you make. Choose a cause, choose a charity that you want to help and give back. Because this principle is so ancient. It's 4,000 years old, guys. It means that it's true. I'm the fruit of this seed that my grandfather has sown. I'm able to do this because part of what he's done has come to us as in my family and the family from my generation down onwards as well. Principle number 7, the amount of money that you attract is limited by your belief. Let me explain. If you believe that having a lot of money equals $1 million, $1 million will eventually become the cap. Because if you believe that you are worth $1 billion, just imagine the mindset, the habits, the actions of someone who believes that you're worth 1 million and someone who's worth $1 billion. Would they function on a day-to-day basis at the same level? Would you think a billionaire is troubled by $100 problems? Would you think a billionaire would be troubled by petty talk? Would he or she even involve himself in petty talk? Definitely no, right? But if $100,000 is a lot to you, that's going to become your cap. But if you know and you believe that one day that you are worth $1 billion, you're going to be basically limitless investing in your skills, in your friendships, in your network, business, and this I've seen to be so true. And I've seen this with my dad. So you see, when he had a number in his heart of how much a lot of money was, or what rich meant for him, his hunger actually started to die down. The drive to come to work, the drive to create started to diminish. And he actually focused his time, his energy towards giving to people, helping others, because that was the amount of money that he felt in his heart that was a lot. And he had it. And once he got it, he acquired it. He was like, okay, now it's time that I can give, I can extend. But prior to that, he was like, go, 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 go. So for me, being the second generation, my job is to make sure that I blow that cap 100 times so that I make sure that I never run out of ideas and never get into a space where I feel like I have to retire. You go back to the previous principle on giving and tithing, right? If you start to create and you are in the mindset or in the belief of unlimited creation, that you have the power to create limitlessly, it means that that 10% is also going to grow, 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 grow. And then the amount of people that you're going to be able to help is also going to grow, 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 grow. And that just becomes a life that's so much fun, so exciting. That's why I wake up and just get out of bed every single day. There are some days that I get tired, I feel a bit burnt out, but I can usually snap out of it in just maybe 1 or 2 days at the beach and I'm good. But to retire and just do nothing and just like live at the beach and just spend money, that's not the life that I want, man. That's not a life worth living. That's not a life that is worth being a human for. If you feel like you gotta work, and then there's a stop to it at one day, why not build or craft your life in a way that you never have to retire? And if you're in your 20s, you've got this golden period to create so much opportunities for yourself, to earn so much money, to acquire so much skills. So don't waste it. Let this video be a reminder that you guys can go so far. I tell all of my mentees that, man, just the fact that you are here with me as a mentee, you're gonna go so much further than I ever did. So don't forget, the amount of money that you will eventually acquire is limited by your own belief of how much is a lot. So I would challenge you to use this principle and blow off that cap 1,000 times. If you think $100,000 is worth a lot, change it to $1 billion. And I'm confident that if you ask yourself the question, what do I need to do to become a billionaire? What type of habits would I need to acquire? Now that's a different ballgame. Coming to the last principle, principle number 8. Money is a tool to acquire resources, not a means to an end. This is to build on top of principle number 7, because eventually, if you follow all these principles, there is no way that you're not going to be rich, that you're not going to be wealthy, that you're not going to attract opportunities, that you're not going to be valuable to the marketplace. There's no way. So when you have money, I want to challenge you not only to give it away, give parts of it away as much as you can, but also use it as a tool to acquire resources to build even more experiences with your family, with your team, with the people that you love, with the people that you care about. And I would challenge you to view money as a tool. The more tools you have, the better life that you're able to live. So don't create a cap to the amount of money that you are going to be able to create and generate and acquire. Don't put a cap to that. There should be no limit to the amount of money that anyone can make. $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion. Totally up to you. Whatever you believe that you can attract. Ultimately, what you want to do with that wealth, don't forget to use the remaining principles as a guideline. I hope that this video was helpful and that this could reach thousands, if not millions of people around the world that's in their 20s. And let me be another big brother to you. If you enjoyed this type of video, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And if you want to see behind the scenes of my life, of my family, and what I do on a daily basis, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and as well as X if you prefer written content. I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless.